moment of silence. Good evening, everybody out there in Chester County and on my Facebook page, coming to you straight live from City Town Talkers, none other than me, Brother Fonz. Thank God that I had a young man that we're featuring this evening that has an MBA, because for some reason I sent out 2 invitations and we couldn't connect. So I was starting to sweat right around 8 o'clock. But he said, calm down, I'm going to bring you right on in like an airplane coming in on autopilot on a runway. But wait, before I get started, this is a monumental moment in City Town Talk, because this week I am being sponsored. I don't think you heard me. I'm being sponsored. City Town Talk is being sponsored by none other than Reese Turner with Reese Soap. Reese Soaps is located in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. I had her on earlier this week, and Reese sells all natural homemade soaps and other natural products. A few of her products include lip balm, face mist, lotion bars, and much, much more. Her website is reesesoap.com. That's REECIESSOAPS.com. You can also follow her on her Instagram and Facebook page at Reese Soaps. Reese is a 12-year-old. She done beat a whole lot of y'all. She's 12 years old, and she decided it was worth the investment to invest in City Town Talk, the broadcast that gives you information, inspiration, and hopefully some motivation. But now, enough about her and me and everything. We got a special guest tonight. I'm going to read a short clip of his bio, but I think I need to tell you a backstory first. Me and this gentleman, Dayron L. Bowers, we were co-laborers in a ministry at New Life in Christ Fellowship, where we, with a mentoring ministry that had hundreds of kids. And he was a faithful mentor, and it was just beautiful, man. I mean, we took a busload of kids to the Blacks and Wax. We just did everything together because he had a penchant and a heart for the children, man. And little did I know, 6 years later, after him leaving, or 5 years, he's back and we're together again. Now, I'm going to read a short bio. See, I need a long runway today. Usually I just jump right in. But today we're going to give you some, hey, wait a minute. Plus, he had a dynamite webinar, man, for 4 hours. Dynamite people on there. I just got the video. I looked at the video today too. Okay, now, Dayron Bowers. Dayron Bowers is a business consultant and entrepreneur. He is focused on the development of leadership, management, and customer service, specializing in service-oriented businesses. He actively advocates for startups and entrepreneurs through education, coaching, and strategic planning. In addition to managing his consulting firm, KANNEX Incorporated, Mr. Bowers serves as a professor at Houston Tillotson University, educating students in various studies of business management. He aspires to encourage and inspire the growth of future leaders in an engaging, thought-provoking environment. Mr. Bowers also dedicates his time serving as Vice President of Business Development for the Austin chapter of the National Black MBA Association, which just had their 50th anniversary, and he was the main presenter. He just did a whole bunch of good stuff. Man, look, so what I'm gonna say, anybody out there within the sound of my voice, please share this broadcast, because the sooner you share it, the quicker it gets back to me, and I can answer or ask some questions, because I ain't got no answers. I'm gonna tell you the truth. That's why I got him on. So y'all do that out there. And right now, I want to present Mr. Dayron Bowers. First of all, Dayron, how you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm great. About yourself, good brother?
I can't complain, man. Life isn't so bad, man. So things are going good for you.
Yes, everything's great. Adjusting to life with COVID, right?
Oh boy, yeah. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Tell the viewers out there a little about yourself.
Well, I'm Dayron Bowers. Thank you for the introduction. I miss those days at Tim's. There were great times with the kids. Yeah, I'm Dayron Bowers from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Moved out to Coatesville probably, what, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Time flies by.
Yeah.
For the past 5 years now, or 3 years, I've been out in Austin, Texas. Still have my house out there in Coatesville. Essentially, used to work out there over at Citadel. Ended up leaving my job to aspire my entrepreneurial dreams. And essentially, here I am.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, now I got a script here, but as you talk and memories hit me, I'm just going to ask you questions based on my memory. When you left Coatesville, what was your vision? What was it that you wanted to do, and how did you come to the decision to do it?
So when I had left Coatesville, I worked at Citadel for 7 years, brother. It was a great job, great place to be. But just personally, I felt unfulfilled. Great at my job, great with the people around me, but personally, I just wanted to pursue more. Ended up having a couple of those life questioning moments where it was, what am I going to do, where am I going, and had a really great opportunity with a partner of mine to start my own marketing company with my partner. And essentially, we probably planned it for about a good year and a half. And then things started to line up, man. And next thing you know, I rented out my house, moved to Philadelphia, and didn't look back twice.
It's a great story. I remember us talking before you left, and you was telling me about that division, and it's just people are so afraid sometimes to go that next step. They have the dream and they have the vision, but fear prevents them from doing it. A quick side note: not only did Dayron leave to go to Texas, but he left his dog here in Coatesville, and the dog still lives right around the corner. Ain't that something? So when it was time to go, he had to go.
Yeah,
That's good stuff.
he's at a good home now. Just
Yes,
being, a lot of my business was in Philadelphia, so I was running in and out, and it was a glorified home for him. So he has a nice family, and he gets to sleep on the bed and all that. So
oh yeah.
he's in heaven right now.
Yeah, they love that dog. I'm telling you. Before we go any further, Iris Holmes said, "Good evening." Pastor Connie Dutton says it. Good evening. And my man Nelson Ojeda said, "Yo, what's up?" Okay, now, hey, look, anybody listening out there, as we get further into this interview, if you have any questions, because he's about business. Now, if y'all got questions, you need to go ahead and type them into the comment, and I will give it to him, and he will answer in real time. So let me see. So now, when you left here, you went to Austin, Texas. Is that where you went?
Well, first went to Philadelphia or Philly. Man, I'm so used to being out of state. I turned Philly to Philadelphia, and just modified everything. So yeah, I left Coatesville to go to Philly for I was out Philly for 2.5 years, and then came back for a year, and then essentially left and been in Austin for 3 years now.
That's good, good, good. All right. Now, tell us about what you do and how it can help those that are listening. Because right now in Coatesville, there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are springing up all over the place. Minds have been transformed, and the community is trying to accumulate generational wealth by purchasing homes and starting their own business. What do you do, and how can you help in that mission?
So at my core, I'm a small business advocate, but there's two sides to that, right? On the startup, beginning entrepreneur side, essentially most of my clients have an amount of cash. They're looking to start up a business, but they really just don't know how, or they don't know what to do next. Typically, when you have cash, you're ready to start up a business, you go to the whatever financial institution. They'll tell you, to spend your cash, open up a checking account, spend your cash, and then come back, and then we'll assess what you need. So that's the first person, or the first phase of entrepreneurship that I help. The second is you don't have cash, you want to start your business, but you don't know how. So that was the webinar that I just hosted over the weekend, where I essentially showed people how to start your business before quitting your day job. The webinar is something that came to me 5 years ago when I got in the muck of my journey, let's say. When I ended up leaving to go to Philly, I didn't realize that, not only going to run my own business, would my business have a large amount it had its own needs. But I also came from a certain lifestyle and salary. So it was hard, 1 month you're running your business and then the next month you're paying your bills. And, trust me, you can't do both of them at the same time. So essentially, I'm a man of faith, with Tim's obviously. I'd say God checked me for a moment where I thought it was me and I thought I had it. And, he really, like I said, checked me, but showed me a way on, where I went wrong. And essentially on the lower side, if you don't have cash, I show people how to start up a business essentially before leaving your day job. And then finally, I focus on my business consulting side. I focus on leadership and management. When I had started, essentially I left for marketing and branding with small businesses. But I quickly realized that there's so many facets to branding your business. And a lot of small business owners think that when they market that they're going to get immediate return. But a lot of your marketing is a branding and a lifelong investment. So what I learned in that was what I call a pivot moment, where no matter how great your marketing campaigns are, any business, no matter what size it is, the success of it depends on the leadership. So essentially on the consulting side for businesses, I help develop, leadership and management. So a lot, but focused, based on leadership-based, mission-based leadership is really where I, would say everything kind of comes into its one pinnacle.
Wow, wow. So how much do you need to start a business? Is there a certain amount a person should have on hand?
So my clients will typically have somewhere between 30 and 50,000 to start. Essentially, when you think about, starting a business, it's a strategy, and, you're in there for the long game. So, cash wise, I would say it's a good starting place to protect yourself and to reduce your risk. But realistically, you don't need any money to start a business. In Pennsylvania, you can go right over there to the SBA, and they have a program, I believe it's called the 7A program. When you go there, it's right over there in King of Prussia off the Valley Forge exit. What they'll do is they'll walk you through a training and essentially show you how to start up or write a business plan. When you write that business plan, what happens is it gets backed by the SBA, and they'll secure any financing that you need. So essentially, you could write a business plan and you could project what your needs are going to be. And in a thorough projection, basically, you can get funded from a financial institution if you fit their portfolio needs. So long-winded, but again, it all depends on time. It's a strategic, aspect when starting a business. It's not something you do overnight just because you have, $10,000.
Hey, you entrepreneurs out there, are y'all listening? He said something about you can start a business without any money if you're willing to do the footwork, the legwork, create that business plan, and all those other things. That's good stuff, because I had no idea, except I'm past my years of wanting to start a business. I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. That's all good. Okay. So the question is, what is the first thing people need to do to start their own business? What's the very first thing?
So, the first thing you have to do is register your business as a corporation. I think there's a misconception, especially in our community. We really don't set up businesses. We create our own jobs, or we have side hustles. Your business is going to operate on its own as its own entity under its own identity. So the first thing you need is an LLC. The second thing you need, a business checking account.
Well, look, let's expand on that a little bit. I know you don't want to give away everything free because this is your business, but just for today, let's talk about the difference between an LLC, sole proprietorship. What's the advantages and the disadvantages of those two entities right there?
Okay. So with the sole proprietorship, essentially, giving context on it, a sole proprietorship is someone that essentially, let's say I have a lawn care, a lawn mowing business. I go knock door to door. I cut lawns. People pay me in cash. That's my livelihood. I put my money in my checking account, my personal checking account, or I have what's known as a DBA account, a doing business as account. That's a sole proprietor. So essentially, you claim whatever your business income is under your social security number. Now, a corporation is filed under a state, and you can pretty much go to a company like LegalZoom. For Pennsylvania, I think it's $350 to $400. But essentially what they'll do is you can register as a corporation. Within registering as a corporation, you get something that's called an EIN number, an employee identification number. That's what you would utilize to open up a business checking account. The main reason being, and giving context on that, finds my purpose and goal behind this is, especially for the African American and minority community, a large amount of our businesses opened are designated as sole proprietorships. When it comes to the financial institution, a sole proprietor, if he or she wanted to access funds to grow his business. So let's say, again, you have a lawn mowing business, you went from 10 houses to 10 to 100. And now you need two pieces of, two lawnmowers. Well, if you don't have the cash, you need to go get credit. But the financial institution will only loan you money based off of your credit history. So as a sole proprietor, if you don't have good credit, essentially, you're not going to be able to take whatever it is that you need to grow your business. So, those are really the two big differences, especially, anybody that's looking to grow your business, you're not going to grow your business without capital. And kind of summing that up right there, I think that's the number one point we as business owners and entrepreneurs need to know. Just because you have a business does not mean you're going to be rich or wealthy. A business can be providing any type of service that is providing some type of value. So whether you designate that as a sole proprietor or as a LLC, it really doesn't matter to the government. The government just wants to know who to tax. However, again, when you're looking to grow your business, if you can't access capital, you're going to sit here and be running to, mom, dad, aunt, and uncle, hey, I need this money. And they're going to look at you and say, what do you need it for? Well, I have this opportunity. Well, where's your business plan? And you're like, here's an invoice. But, an invoice, look, when you run a business, the moment you turn your lights on, you got bills. The invoice don't mean it's going to get paid.
That's right. That's right. Let's stop here for a second. I just want to give some shout outs and acknowledgments. We have Bernadette Runner on here that said hello. And look, your cousin Connie said, she said, tell him cousin Connie says hi to him and cuz Jade. Well, Connie's a pastor now. I'm just saying Connie because y'all cousins. But that's Pastor Dutton. Pastor Dutton said hi. Nelson Ojeda said, do you have partners in your business?
Do I have partners in my business?
Yes.
So yes and no. I think that's a strategic designation. So that's kind of a difficult question to answer. But as of right now, I'm I have sole ownership, but I did pass out some ownership to some private partners.
Okay, Nelson, you got that? I hope you're still hanging on. I know you were. We got Steve Horsey has checked in. That's good to see you, Steve. Arnetta Nixon Foreman, Phoenix Gibbs, who is one of the top pet groomers on the East Coast. Phoenix is good. Listen to Dayron. He knows about business. We have Marlise, most wanted, Medina Smith. Okay, she's watching Daryl Peterson. Daryl, where are you at? In Boston, you're somewhere, but you're not here. And Nashika Newton is watching. Hey, look, if y'all have any questions, you better ask him some questions while it's free, because at the end, he's going to tell y'all how he can utilize his services and everything else. So I'm glad that you ladies and gentlemen are tuning in and watch. Daryl's in Maine. Bring me some lobster next time you come down to Carver Court too. All right, so look, let's move on. That was good. What was the last thing I asked? Because you know I'm getting old. I can't even remember stuff. But that was a good answer. I just don't know what the answer was for. Now, we were talking about sole proprietorship. Now, which one is the kind of like the best one that gives the most protection legally and gives you the most flexibility to get financing and stuff like that?
So, that's another long question and, strategy based. You have a corporation. A corporation essentially is an LLC. You have an S Corp. An S Corp, what that allows you to essentially do is it allows you to, so when you have a corporation, the question becomes, you get taxed twice. So you get taxed as a company, and then you also get taxed as an owner. Another problem, an issue that sole proprietors have or that business owners have, they get an LLC, they get their business checking account, but when they make money on for their business, they take it right out and they spend it on their bills. So you're in an option, you're running and managing your business where you're running your business one month and then paying your bills the next month. There's B Corps. If you have if you're a doctor, there's licensed limited practices, LLPs. There's so many different designations for a corporation. But the most simplest form is to do an LLC. But again, to reduce your risk, that's really what it comes down to. So you can have an LLC on top of an LLC. You can have a partnership among an LLC and an S Corp. It kind of gets deep nested, but the most basic is just an LLC, a corporation, and then you can move from there.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, let me stop and take a second here. You must be saying some stuff that people starting to tune in. Here we go. Hey, look, here's one of my favorite people. We got Cass Rowland on here, who is from Thorndale. You remember where Thorndale is at, right?
Oh,
Dayron?
yeah. Oh,
okay, yeah. Well, Cass Rowland is the creator of something called Big Boys Barbecue Sauce. Okay. And this Big Boys Barbecue Sauce is in about 60, 70 stores, Walmart, Giant, all in places. And he always tunes in. He knows a little bit about business. So, Cass, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Nelson Ojeda said he is in the real estate business. He flips beach houses, so he must have some money. Most people just flipping, property. Beach houses. Okay, Nelson, beach house. Patricia Ann Tucker Brown, it is good to see you with all those 4 names you got. I just love saying your name. Mary E. Kyle, top of the evening to you. Hey, Mary, if you got any questions, get Dayron while he's cheap and he's free tonight. I'm holding him hostage until the last question is answered. Let me see if I got some more.
As much as I can, I promise.
Yeah, man. And if I don't come up with some questions or they don't, just share some of that knowledge, man, because ain't nothing like giving it away. But now let me ask you this. What has been your biggest challenge in this journey of yours?
Biggest challenge?
Good question.
For this year has been probably one of my biggest revelations it's been one of my biggest revelations this year. It's really been time. When you're growing your business, there's certain things that have to happen that, you have to be prepared for. And then some things, you literally just do it so you can get feedback. But if you don't manage or plan over time, which I think that was some of my biggest frustrations in the beginning. I had these big ideas, these great concepts, but I was looking to make them happen tomorrow versus taking, okay, 6 months from now, I can do this. And, at the 3 month mark, I need to have this done at the, so that's been my biggest win within a challenge. You can't make anything happen now, especially you're talking about times like this. It's COVID. Prior to COVID, with the National Black MBA Association, we were going to have a conference over here at one of the University of Texas facilities. So it was a whole small business concert or conference. However, with COVID happening, you couldn't have large, crowds. But right at the time when we were getting ready to plan, put our marketing out, you kind of had to pivot and stop, so that led us to, eventually having a virtual seminar and webinar. But, it's some things you kind of can't control, but opportunity comes to those that are prepared for it, right?
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Now, let me ask you, but this is for people out there. When you left, did you have a complete plan together? Or did you wait until you totally had everything together and then branched out on your dream or vision? Or was any of it, I would say, steered by faith as well?
A lot steered by faith. I personally had a deep peace that I knew I would be okay. It was for me personally at that time. I kept on saying I would own my own business when I would own my own business when I pay off this loan, or when I get rid of, my student loans, or when my house is, there always was something that I would do it when. So, essentially, I had a plan. We, put a business plan together, but I think there were certain things that I just didn't know about business that, again, your business always needs, some type of money. It needs funding. There's no way that you can have a business without putting money into it. And I didn't realize those unexpected costs, again, married with my mortgage, my cell phone, my car note, all that other stuff, so it became a juggling act, to say the least.
Okay, but now let's take a break here. This is Director Nelson. What I want you to do is to reach out to Dayron after this meeting is over, because Nelson, he flips the beach houses and he wants to talk to you. So Nelson, we can't really have a back and forth on this here on this broadcast, but you reach out to him. He's going to give you some information, and if you leave it in the comments section and all that, he'll exchange information with you. Daryl Peterson said, Fonz got me started and wanting to do my own thing. Daryl Peterson was one of my favorite workers down there. Footstop. Okay, Bolly Gibbs, it's good to see you. Daryl Peterson said, setting goals. You're definitely right about that. Everybody needs one. I have found that a lot of people will not get started because they're always waiting for one more thing to happen for them to get started.
Right.
Just one more thing. Mm-hmm. I'll get started when, like you just said, when this is paid up, when that's that and that, and they wind up with their biggest, best dreams and visions in the grave with them. What do you have to say for people like that? Good one.
It's never too late. Being a professor over here at Houston Tillotson University, it's at HBCU out here in Austin. So I teach traditional students who are 18 to 21. I teach them in business communications and then small business entrepreneurship. And then my adult degree program, I pretty much teach the whole track. The management track. So international business, organizational behavior, principles of management, human resource management, small business management, and business communications. But what I find is, again, it's time, right? You can sit here and how long it would take you to go through school. Some people, school's not for them, but a degree, to have a degree is something they can't take back from you. Not something you necessarily need, but at some point in your life, I think you're going to look back and say, I wish I would have, right? And, you know, some people can do right away. Other people, you might have to chunk it a little by little. So, you know, personally, you know, I think that's a spiritual answer, Fonz. I think, you know,
Yeah.
God gives us all something that we're supposed to do.
Mhm.
And, you know, I had a buddy that, you know, last year, I was at a conference called the Power Networking Conference. And we were in the wrap up line, and he asked me, he said, you know, if you were to, you know, to check out tomorrow, and, you know, God was to call you tomorrow, and you were to, and he was to ask you, did you do what I told you to do? What would your answer be? And I feel that we all have that, you know, God told us to do something, but do we have the courage to really go and chase it, trusting, you know, that inner voice, right? Your faith.
I got you. I got you. Got you. Okay, here goes a question from your cuz. She says, nonprofit, incorporate, EIN, tax exempt business account. Is it legal to start a business under a church?
Is it legal to start a business under a church? So it's not illegal because it's its own entity. So essentially, you could have the church, and you could have the church registered as the owner for an LLC.
Okay. Pastor Dutton, that was short and sweet. Have at it. Put it on my page. I'll help you sell it. Okay, where we at? All right, I got a couple more questions, man, but feel free to, like, whatever it is you, even I don't ask you, whatever you think that we need to hear, feel free to do it. But now, does a person need a website, and should they advertise and be on social media?
So the website thing is tricky, especially for startup entrepreneurs. When it comes to Google, Google essentially gives you 5 miles that you can claim as a small business owner. But in order to do that, you have to have a registered address. So one of those things you have to look into when you're registering your business is what's going to be your registered address. And in Pennsylvania, you can't use a PO box. So be careful. I started up a business when I was 18 years old, and my mom is still getting mail for those 2 businesses that I started up. Sorry, Mom, I apologize. Didn't know at the time, but be cognizant of that. Yeah. What else outside of that? So you'll get a 5 mile radius from Google. So when you have a website, also Google wants to make sure that they are sending the most relevant information to the person searching. So there's 2 different types of websites. There's a free website, which basically you can do. It's great. It looks beautiful. Everybody needs a website. The problem is when you go to grow your business that has no SEO and then it has no back office to it. So it can cause a problem when you're looking to be found if you go to move to another website. So everyone needs a website. It's your business card nowadays. You know, you meet somebody and they say, you know, you say, hey, this is my business. They look at your business card, and the first thing you know, if we're really intrigued, the first thing we're going to do is Google you, right? It's just how we shop. It's how we search people. It's how we identify people. So, you know, you need that, but you also should, you know, be prepared to set it up properly. And, you know, again, that's the long game of business. You know, it's again why most of my clients have that 20 to or that 30 to 50,000 in cash, because, you know, I would recommend having a full website built, which could cost you $1,000, you know, to have it developed, and then $150 a month to maintenance it. But there's so many, you know, it's just so many facets to it. Just be cautious and make sure that, you know, you are taking the right path, and not going the cheap route.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We have Anita Taylor Smith has checked in. Anita, are you down in Florida, or are you still local? Are you local up here? And Tammy Slamming Jared is watching. Here's 2 waves to y'all. Thank y'all for checking in. Okay, how does one work their job and run a business at the same time?
So it's a long game. You know, you have a social security number and your business has an EIN. When it comes down to lending opportunities, Banks are in the business to lend money because that's how they make money. We tend to not trust banks as much. So when it's time to get lended money, we have no profile or history built with that bank, or we don't have good credit. So essentially, the bank looks at your business in the same magnitude. They need to know what the business is doing with its cash. And the only way they can do, like, there's people, I've had clients that, have had money deposited in the checking account thinking that they could get, access to more money. However, the bank wanted to see where the funds were going to go. Ultimately, what the bank does is the bank is loaned money from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve loans banks money at 1%, which is called prime, right? Banks then loan to healthy creditors, which are individuals, and they loan to businesses. When you look especially at a community like Coatesville, the banks around the area are, non-existent. Home ownership is down. Again, banks are in the business of loaning money, but they have to have healthy, a healthy pool to loan to. So, when you're looking at, starting your business and, you can have that, oh, I got this burning passion, let's just go do it. You can strategically start your business by just putting $100 away. But what you're doing in $100 away in a business checking account. But what you're doing is you're building history. Any financial institution, they won't loan to a business unless there's 3 to 5 years of financial history for that business. If there's not that time frame, they're going to ask you to guarantee as your personal credit whatever loan you request. Again, when you think about growing your business, think about, you're buying, you had a t-shirt business, right?
Yeah, among others.
You could buy t-shirts, the more t-shirts you bought, the cheaper they came, right? So if you only had access to $500, you're only going to play with what you can play with. But if you have access to 5,000, instead of getting the t-shirts for $3 a pop, you're getting them for $1. But now you got to hold that on your inventory. So, there's that, process of strategically making sure that your business is, stable, especially, look at COVID. Right now, you have people that, restaurants that, don't have online ordering or drive-through capabilities that had to figure it out. Think about the mom and pop shops that, depend on foot traffic, the coffee shops that aren't called Starbucks. What are you doing in this time? And if you can't access capital, it's there was an article I read about, African Americans weren't qualifying for the PPP from COVID, right? The payment protection. But typically it's because of, we're registered as sole proprietors and our business history isn't set up right. So it's not that we're being rejected. It's just that we don't have the proper financial portfolio.
I'd like to add something on that. When I had my athletic footwear store called Footstop, the bank that I banked with, well, I banked with them for 20 years, something like that. Evidently, there are times in a bank when they have money that they have to lend out. Evidently, because my store was 1 block from my bank, and the bank manager came up and said, "Fonz, you can get up to $35,000 just on your signature, basically." Mm-hmm. Without, all I had to do was tell them how much I gross a year, and sneaker store, I was grossing a lot of money. They knew that. Right. And he came up and offered, and he gave me $35,000 within like a week. I had to sign some papers, of course, like that. And all of a sudden, and I didn't even ask for it. So it just goes to show you, when you have some longevity in your business and you've been doing the right things can happen for you when you least suspect it.
Right. And, the best point about that, Fonz, was you had a relationship with the banker that he called you. Yeah. Again, when you look at the time of building a business, you have to, the banker has to trust you. And, we also have to know that there are multiple financial institutions. And, like Citadel is a credit union that's, for the local Coatesville resident, or, they're bigger than that, but their small business side isn't as robust as JP Morgan. But JP Morgan, they're looking for somebody that's a little bit more of a stronger credit portfolio because they're a larger financial institution. But there's smaller banks that, are looking for commercial real estate, that they want, that's what their bread and butter is. So, we also have to not only, have relationships with our banks and bankers, but we have to diversify amongst, multiple institutions.
Man, that's good stuff. Yeah, you must be hitting some bells because people are really checking in now. Danico Gibson, it is good to see you. Arnold Jake Hammond, a legend in his own mind. I mean, in his own time. Anthony's good to see you. Tony M. Story, Anthony Hogar, man, it's good to see you, Hogue. And look. I mean, they're popping in, and it's all good. Let me ask you a question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's your mission?
Where do I see myself in 5 years?
Good.
I guess I have to go back to answer that. Before I left Coatesville, I sat down, I did a 10-year plan. And, I said what I wanted to do in 10 years. And then I broke that down to where I would be in 5 years, where I would be in 3 years, then 2 years, then 1 year. And then from that point, you can break it down 6 months. I broke this down all the way to the week by week scenario where I knew what I had to do. It was finish my MBA. But to answer your question, my next, what I said I would have by 40 is my PhD. So I'll be in that process. I'm looking for that sabbatical. I really enjoy teaching. I really enjoy pouring in, just from what I learned, coming from most of my family is all, either go to Cheney, went to Cheney, worked at Cheney, but what I knew from Cheney compared to my first year, I went to Drexel University. Man, I learned so much and it was expensive as hell. Oh, it was so expensive, but it got me, there's things that I still use from that moment, today. And I get the chance to really pour out to the students. So, 5 years from now, I definitely would have a sabbatical somewhere and somebody's business management professor, more property, more businesses, more, health, more, everything. So.
Man, thank you. I always end each interview with this one question, but since you've been on, I'm going to have to post some pictures of you and the kids because I don't throw no pictures away. So I got pictures of you 6, 7, 8 years ago. So they'll be up on my page tomorrow. So you'll see awesome. How he is when he's not pushing that paper and teaching and everything else. You'll see him in his other element as well. My last question before we depart, company, is always, do you have any advice for those who are coming behind you that are aspiring to do great things?
Think marketable skills. Everyone's getting a college degree. Everyone, even the bachelors now, everyone's kind of going the master's route. It's a crowded field. But there's, companies want to know what your skills are. And not only companies, especially in this tech industry, out here in Austin, it's a big tech boom. And there's people that are, programming security code, and they know just this one piece, and they're so laser-like focused on this one piece that, you got a small team of like 4 or 5 coders that are making, $1 million a year on government contracts. So I would say laser-like focus, and then try to add as many skills as you possibly can.
Hey, let people out there in the audience know how to reach you if they want to reach you. Do you have a website? All that good stuff you were saying. Do you have it? Let people know how to reach you in case they have questions for you in the future or want to utilize your services or whatever.
The best place to reach me is on my website at dlbowers.com. That's DLBOWERS.com. You can schedule a 30-minute appointment with me. Essentially with most of my clients, everyone's on, different levels. I kind of need to, I would say you can describe me as a mechanic for your business, right? That when your service engine soon light comes on, you need to go to, Pet Boys or whatever mechanic you go to. With your business, there is no service engine soon light. So, I would go schedule a 30-minute call. Let's see where you're at. And then, we can take it from there.
Good stuff, good stuff. Maria Carter, I see you came on late, but you can always see it on the repost. Good to see you. And Casey Lowndes, or is that Loans? I'm not quite sure how to say that last name, but thank you for viewing. Dayron, I want to thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, we've gone out for almost an hour, man, but it seemed like just a couple of minutes, man, because it was flowing so good, man. I appreciate you allowing us to Zoom into your room, man. I want you to take care. God bless you. As soon as you sign off, I'm going to end this. I'm going to end this session, and we're going to talk in the near future. Okay. Don't forget to put your information in the comment section, Dayron, when you get off, so in case some people didn't write it down or whatever. Okay.
I sure will. What's up, cuz? What's up, family? Arnetta, Connie, I see you guys.
God bless you,
All
man.
right.
We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you, Fonz. God bless you, brother.
You're welcome. All right, Chester County, I'm going to give you the upcoming broadcast that's coming up. I want to thank y'all all for tuning in, but I'm not finished yet because I still got another word from our sponsor. Upcoming broadcast will be Wayne and Jackie Carter from Not Reaching and Alliance for Safe Traffic Stops, John Hess from SCORE, Benicia Miles of Forbes for Culture, that's his hometown girl, Benny Zambuto of Surefire Graphics, Don Vimasol, Pastor Robert Marshall of New Life in Christ and his Engaged Ministry, Susan Springsteen, a president of H2O Connected LLC. That's that new building, not new building, but the building they're going to make new up there on Route 30. And wait till you hear the story about what her plans are for that. We got Aaron Anderson and Jovan Grove of Savage Beauty. That's some beauty that's savage. We got Josh and Jordan Crayons from Bridge Academy and Community Center and Pastor Providence Church. We got Shanina Diana. I like that name. And she is an artist extraordinaire. And Aaliyah Buchanan from Purple Cats Pet Groomer. These are all the people that are in the pop line. Oh, wait a minute. I think Bangoy, I don't know how to say her last name. Bangoy is signed up too as well. We got to get her a date. Kendra Wilson, it's good to see you. It's not too late. As soon as I sign off, you'll be able to see this in its entirety. But before I go, I want y'all to know that today's broadcast has been sponsored by Reese Turner with Reese's Soaps, which is located in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Reese sells all natural homemade soap and other natural products. A few of her products include lip balm, face mist, lotion bars, and much, much more. Her website is reesesoap.com. You can follow her on Instagram and Facebook at Reese Soap. She has been and is my first sponsor, and she will be sponsoring 2 more episodes this week. Reese Turner and family, I appreciate you. Thank you for having faith in me and investing in this broadcast. I want y'all all to have a great night. It's been truly a blessing. Boy, we talked about some stuff tonight. I want y'all to remember, man, that Coatesville's rising and we all matter. This is it. Peace out.